Hello. So this is my first video of 2024. And when I started my YouTube channel last year, it was around this time last year that I started my YouTube channel. And I'd got big plans, big goals, big visions for posting every week and dropping videos and being very present here on YouTube. And that didn't happen. It didn't go to plan last year at all, at all. And so this year, one of my goals is to be more present here on YouTube, is to really build up my channel, is to create more content and share more content on here for you to be able to plug in and to access, whether that's just for you to learn, whether it is for you to just sit and enjoy and relax, whether it's for you to laugh at, whether it's to entertain you, educate, inform. That's what I want for this platform. And it's only going to happen if I pour my energy into it and I put my focus into it. So my intention this year, like I say, is to show up more on here and to create more content and to bring more value, and also for you to be able to get to know me more here on my YouTube channel, by me doing my vlogs, by me sharing things that I've learned over the years. And what I wanted to do for today's video is I wanted to share some of my story with you, because you might be new to my world of YouTube. I usually say Facebook or social media, but here we are on YouTube now. So if you land on this video and you are a woman who desires more confidence, you are looking to make some changes in your life, if you're wanting to achieve goals, if you've never set goals, you want to start like doing more and having more and creating more and setting goals, achieving goals, that all that kind of stuff. Personal development, you want to learn more about law of attraction, manifestation, human design. You want to learn more about how to grow an online business. Then this is what I'm all about. Is I love to help women with their confidence. I love to help women achieve. I love to see women succeed. And I love to see people that are really passionate and driven to helping other people, going out there and doing that through whatever channel that may be, whether that's on social media, whether it is online, whether it is face-to-face, building a business from the ground up. I like to be that person that helps you to believe in you and that yes, you can do it. And the reason I'm passionate about that is because of my own experience, and that's what I want to touch on today, when it comes to helping you with your confidence, you with your mindset, and you with your energy as well. Because a lot of people that meet me now, when they land on my social media channels or when they meet me in person, when they get to know me, people often think that I have always been a confident person, and that I must have grown up having loads of confidence and I was very much out there, and I could speak to anyone and it must be so easy for me to be able to do the things that I do and to create videos and content and to go live on Facebook and to deliver talks. And I've presented like meetings, business presentations in person. I've done like spoken at retreats. And that wasn't always the case. It wasn't always the case at all. And so that is what I wanted to talk to you about today and share with you today, is more around sort of the behind the scenes of my journey up to this point, and also share sort of the ups and downs of that, because it's not been an easy process, but change and transformation is never easy. I think if we do assign ourselves to living the same thing over and over again, and we want to create different results, and we don't like the idea of change, then obviously we can never experience that transformation, or we can't achieve the things that we want to achieve in life if we're not willing to change in some way, to evolve, to adapt, to grow, to challenge ourselves. And all of those things I used to avoid. I used to avoid them like the plague. Like things like confrontation, communication with people, stepping outside my comfort zone. I used to hate change. I used to be scared of change. I didn't like it. I would, like I said, I would avoid it. I was always that person who would do the easy thing and do the comfortable thing because it felt better. I'm all for comfort. I still can be to this day. So stepping outside of my comfort zone this year is where it's at. And it may be the same for you. You may be wanting to make some changes in your life, big changes. It could be in your life, it could be professionally. You may want to start a business, you may have a business, you want to expand that business. For me, in my own brand of business that I'm growing, what I found over the last year is just a lack of clarity in terms of, you know, where my business is going, how I want my brand to look, how I want that to evolve. And I found myself sort of retreating back from creating content that connects with people. So like, I haven't done many videos over the last, I want to say probably 6 months, even 12. Not as much as I'd like to make anyway, or that I'm capable of doing. And I also put probably too much pressure on myself as well, so I know all my flaws. But in terms of the brand creation, I think there are so many elements of it that I really like, and there's also so many elements of my brand that I'm still not happy with. And so rather than wait until all the details are correct, I just want to take you on that process with me of the evolution of the brand that is my business. And when I sort of really started doing my coaching back in 2020, the name that I had for my business was The Fully Aligned and Empowered Woman. And I'm like, do I want to continue with that brand name, or do I fancy a change? This is the question that I'm asking myself this year as I go into 2024. I've been doing a lot of clearing out over the last few weeks. The Christmas tree came down last week, and I'm feeling very much, I'm feeling inspired to really just clean up a lot of things, like clear out a lot of old energy. I've had a difficult few years. Some people do know, some people don't know sort of the backstory of that. And again, I'll go into that in this video because I want to take you from sort of where my journey started to where I am today. And so going through from today, then we move forward and create clarity in that. And to give myself some credit, one thing that I do, even though I may not be 100% clear on things, is I will move. I will take action. And I'm getting this nudge and this vibe to just to cleanse, like to really, really cleanse and really to clear. So that means that I have launched a new masterclass that I'll be running in my, I'm actually running it inside of my monthly coaching group for women. So that's going to be happening in the next few weeks, which I am looking forward to because it's not only for my clients, it's also for me as well. It's called Identity, and it's about looking at, you know, what identity do we want to really step into and claim and own going through this year? What identity are we wanting to move away from? You know, what things maybe haven't served us? What thoughts, actions, beliefs, all the things aren't serving us that we may have brought in from last year or from previous times to now? Where are we're going to be doing some cleansing, getting rid of all of that, like kind of like ritual vibes as well. And then moving into creating that new identity, one that it aligns with what we want to create this year. And I say we because I'm doing this with the women in my coaching group, my monthly coaching group. And so we go on this journey together. So that's what's happening in there. I've been clearing around the house. It might not look like it in the background. We've got a few bits hanging on the sides here, but I've started downstairs. I've taken the Christmas tree down. I'm in the process of sorting out all the drawers, all the cupboards, all the things in the kitchen. I emptied my entire desk, my bookshelf, all my paperwork. I've been going through and like cleaning everything downstairs. On top of the fridge is our storage unit, so I chuck things on there and store things on there, so that's had a good clean. The fridge has had a good clean. So I'm making every day, I'm just chipping away at a few different things every day in terms of cleansing the energy and the environment, because I know from a manifestation point of view that this really matters. Like, our environment matters. If there's clutter, if there's chaos, if there's noise, we can still... Oh, I can hear someone coming up the stairs. One moment. I've just got to come to the conclusion that whenever I press go on the video, that something, and maybe this is my manifestation, something will always interrupt me. And then I'll go off on a tangent. And then I sat here and I was like, I think I might just scrap the beginning part of that because I find myself waffling. So I've not done a video for so long. I was like, I just found myself waffling. So I'll just leave all that out and I'll start again. And I thought, well, no, that's because this is what this vlog's all about. Is about me just showing up, being honest, being real, not putting on any facade or trying to look all this and that. I mean, obviously elements of that will be there because I have got this and that to bring in certain capacities and certain elements. But when it comes to me being a coach and a mentor, then one of my values is keeping it real and helping people from a place of compassion and empathy and understanding and knowing. And in my coaching environment, that's what I'm known for, is having that connection with people, is having that real understanding of, you know, what real challenge feels like, you know, how to navigate that challenge, how it can feel when things and times are really difficult. And I've got in my human design, so if you are into human design, this is where we're going to get to know each other, all right? If you are into human design, you know, or have some understanding of human design, then please let me know in the comments or message me, let me know, like reach out to me somehow and let me know your human design type. You'll either know this stuff about human design, or you'll be like, what on earth are you talking about, Louise? And then if you're a 5-1 and you have a 1 in your profile like me, you'll go off and investigate what this means, all right? Because that's one of my things. For those who do know about human design, and this is something I'm going to be learning even more about this year, is I'm a manifesting generator 5-1 with a sacral authority, okay? And one of the gates or channels that I have is the gate or channel of struggle. So I know what it feels like to work through and navigate, overcome, and, you know, experience struggle in life. And it's not something that I enjoy. Who does? But what I can say is sometimes when we've been in a state of struggle for a long time, and when it compromises our health or our nervous system and our stress levels are elevated, then it can start to become our most frequent and dominant vibration and energy. And when that is the case, and when that becomes the default, things become really difficult. Like life feels hard. It's a new year right now, okay? It's a new year right now. We're in January the 8th of 2024 right now. And if you're going into a new year following like struggle or challenge or grief or difficult times, and you bring that through into this year and then go, right, this year's going to be different. I'm going to set myself some goals. That's it. I'm changed. I'm sick of this now. And you don't actually get clear on your like default energy and vibe. And I can hear people walking on the landing. It's driving me nuts. They're going down the stairs. We're good. Ah, there we go. We're all alone now. We can chat. If that is your dominant and default energetic makeup and state, then trying to like set goals like up here when actually you're just like, oh, I'm absolutely worn out, or I feel tired and my energy is depleted and I feel like low vibe. I used to feel, and I used to think that I had to go from, I would feel here, and it was like, right, in order for me to achieve the things I want, I've got to be here. I've got to be high vibe, motivation, like I've really got to ramp things up. And this gap here was so big. What I would find is that I would go from this and I'd be like, right, come on, like, and trying to hold this frequency up here of being all of this to achieve like the motivation. Come on, I need to take all the action, and especially in a new year, I would try all this and then I would go poof and I would crash back down again. And I would go through cycles of sabotage and I would go round and round in circles. And it was like the goal was here and I was here, and I would start and I'd go right, and I'd start setting off like this, and then I'd do this, and then I'd go back to base again. So I'd get so far, I'd cycle around, then I'd go back to base again. And I would never hit what I was capable of. I would never actualize my potential because I didn't understand my energy. I didn't take into account or know all that much about me. I was always looking outside of me when it came to, you know, what actions do I need to take and what beliefs do I need to think? And I would take on someone else's beliefs or mindset or motivation. And then that would mean that I would be relying on things outside of me to help me take the action required to do the things that I say I wanted to do, because I wasn't fully connected to it. Because it's like, well, I would look at successful people here and I wouldn't class myself as a successful person. And so every time I would take the steps that a successful person would say, you need to take these steps and do this and do that, and I'd be trying to follow their blueprint to make something happen, whether that was in my life or my business, in my parenting, all of these different things, I would find that it wouldn't always work for me. I would get frustrated. I would feel annoyed because I found it hard to align with all the things that they were saying, because my thoughts, beliefs and actions were just all over the place. I hope that makes sense. Today's going to be quite the waffle, I feel. It's the first vlog of 2024. I'm going to forgive myself if I'm waffling. But I am going to dive into, obviously, as I said, more about my story. So let me take a quick second and then I'll jump back on and we'll start from the bottom. So, as I mentioned earlier, I used to be someone who wasn't confident at all. I was shy, quiet. I identified as someone who didn't have a lot of confidence. And as a child growing up, one of the things that I used to love is wearing really bright clothes. I think as a child I had more confidence and then that sort of declined a little bit, but it wasn't all of that, you know. I was very lucky to have a very good upbringing. I've got an amazing family, amazing parents. I've got a younger brother who's a few years younger than me. We got on, and I had a really settled, loving upbringing, which was the foundations for who I am as a person today, 100%. And I know not everyone is blessed to have that experience growing up, and I understand how that can lead to different challenges and thoughts and feelings and beliefs about life and about yourself, because that foundation of love and nurture and care maybe hasn't been there. And so if this is you watching this, whether you are from an upbringing where, you know, you've had that support and that love and that encouragement, or whether you haven't had that upbringing, you know, you've not felt that love or support, you've experienced maybe difficulties or abuse or neglect and those things, I want you to know that despite your upbringing and experience as a child, that you have the power to create your future as an adult. We all have the power to create our future. And some people may sit there and go, yeah, but you don't know what I've been through and it was really hard for me growing up. And it's not fair because you had the upbringing that you had. And none of us can control the hands that we are dealt as children. The family environments that we grow up in, you know, we don't always get to choose that as children. We don't get to choose that as children. And for some, it's very, very difficult. However, from different people that I've met over the years, especially as a coach and mentor, and from working with so many different people with so many different backgrounds and upbringings and experiences, and also from being with my partner, who we've been together now for 5 years, yes, it can shape our thoughts and feelings about the world and about ourselves, depending on, you know, our upbringing. But when we become an adult and when our brain is fully established, and when we're in a position where we start to really understand that actually I can choose, I get to choose my beliefs, my thoughts, my actions, I get to choose that. Everything changes from that point. And it can take some time to come to that realization that you are the one who gets to choose as an adult. You are the one who has the power within to shape your life moving forward. And this is something, like I said, I'm passionate about, is helping people to understand their own personal power. It's not about me putting some sort of blueprint on you and saying, right, if you do this and I take these steps, so you need to take these steps. I'm very passionate about helping women, or even men, to be honest, because I do work with all different people, but predominantly my business is focused at obviously helping women. It's helping you to realise the power that you have within to choose. And if you are not happy, you have the power to change it as well, regardless of what's happened back here, regardless of your upbringing, regardless of all of that. I'm like, we are adults now, you are an adult now, and so you get to choose. And in my own journey of personal growth, in my own journey of healing and overcoming struggle and challenge, because it's not all been a bed of roses for me, from being a teenager up to probably being the age of like now, it's not been a walk in the park. But one thing I have learned over those years is how to navigate difficult times, how to overcome struggle, how to actually become and skill up because of challenge and struggle, like in terms of resilience and courage and strength and confidence and grit and determination and discipline and commitment, and all those things have come from failures and that have come from difficult times. And I think for me, my biggest change was when I started to learn about personal development, when I started to learn more about myself, and I started to realize that actually I was the one that could change my life. You know, life wasn't going to change. If things were going to change, it had to come from within first, and it had to come from me. And when I started secondary school, this is where things started to really change for me in terms of how I was as a person. And I think for a lot of people, that time between probably the ages of 9 and probably 19, you know, it can be quite a tough time, you know, with school and dealing with different people. And I found that when I went into secondary school, that's when I started to really retract, and I started to lose my confidence. Any little bit of confidence that I had, even though I was quite shy and quiet, I was quite bossy at home with my brother, I'm sure he'll tell you. But in the comfort of the confines of my own home, I was happy and confident and fulfilled at home. Outside of that, in the big wide world, I didn't feel confident and comfortable at all, and I was very shy, quite introverted. I still can be when I go out and about. I like to observe people. I like to just take in my environment. I'm not the loudest person in the room, depending on the environment. And when I started secondary school and I started to meet different people, some of them were lovely, but a lot of them were not. And there were a lot of kids in the school I went to that were unkind, that were bullies, that did criticise, that did judge, that did like obviously pick on other people, that just weren't nice. And I found that being in that environment for that time during school really did sort of strip away any sort of confidence that I might have had. And what I found that what I adopted from going to when I went to secondary school, that was that if I dull down enough, people won't notice me. It's like I tried to become invisible at secondary school so that I didn't get picked on, I didn't get bullied. I didn't want to be with the crowd that was going out drinking and getting up to no good. You know, that didn't align with my values. Even as a teenager, I was like, I don't want to conform enough to do those types of activities. That's just not for me at all. It never has been, never will be. It's never appealed to me. And so I kind of understood from that young age that, you know, if we put ourselves, and again, this comes from my upbringing, you know, if we put ourselves in those environments, dangerous environments, risky environments, then, you know, we become like the people we spend the most time with. Is that the life that I want? Are ultimately those people the people that I want to, do I aspire to those people? Ultimately, is that the life that I want to live? Do I want to really spend time with these people? And there was a lot of time I had some really lovely close friends at secondary school, and we're still friends today. And even when we speak, it's like it was yesterday. And it's like, I hate to admit this, but it's like 25 years ago since we're at school properly. And then there's some friends that, you know, I have met at secondary school and that have fallen away, you know, primary and secondary school, that have fallen away over the years because I just thought these people aren't necessarily the right people for me, you know, at different times in my life. So, but one of the main things to come from secondary school was a massive dent in confidence, and that if you were sort of fully yourself, then you would be opening yourself up to judgment, criticism, bullying, being picked on. And I experienced that firsthand in my first year of secondary school. And so over the years, I sort of started to just get my head down, become invisible. And I was very quiet, and I just got on with school because I hated it. I hated it. I hated going to school. I really did. I didn't mind the learning process of it, but I just didn't want to be in the environment where people weren't nice. I wasn't used to it. And so following leaving school at the age of 17, I met my first sort of long-term partner and relationship when I was 17. And I also fell into different jobs as well, because growing up, I never knew what I wanted to do. A lot of my friends at school knew what they wanted to do. They knew that what college courses they wanted to do. A lot of my friends went to university. So I did my GCSEs. I did pass all of my GCSEs, and then I studied A-levels, but I didn't want to go to university. I didn't know what career path I wanted. I therefore couldn't decide on, I was terrible at making decisions. I couldn't decide on what course I wanted to take at university. So I did my A-levels because most of my friends did their A-levels because they were going on to university. I didn't know what to do, and I thought most of my friends, my close friends, are staying on to do A-levels, so I'll do the same. And when I finished my A-levels, funnily enough, my A-level choices were sociology and psychology. So I must have kind of known that I wanted to go into some sort of role to do with helping people and coaching and understanding the mind, and I'm slightly obsessed with neuroscience right now and all that kind of stuff. But I did those A-levels, and then I just finished education at 18. I'd met my boyfriend then at 17. And I just thought, I just want to work and earn some money. All my friends have gone off to university. I didn't have the confidence to challenge myself. I didn't like the idea of failing. I wanted to remain invisible. And so I got myself just any old job. Any old minimum wage job. I just went out and I got a job, and I started to work and I started to earn money. And part of me always felt like a bit of a failure back then, because everyone else seemed to know what they wanted to do. Everyone seemed to have a career in mind or was studying, and I still didn't know. I didn't have the confidence to explore anything outside of just working a job then. And so I just worked. And also, there's nothing wrong with just working if that fulfills you. But for me, it didn't fulfill me. There was always this itch and this thing and this knowing that I was meant to be and doing something more than I was, and I wasn't fulfilling that. And so there's this constant underlying thing is, you are meant to be something in somewhere. Like, you are meant to be successful in something, like really successful. You are meant to be doing something really big and something bold and something like that even you can't comprehend. And I didn't know what it was, and I'm like, it used to drive me mad. And so I would stick to just doing the job, because I thought, well, at least I'm earning money and not doing not anything. But I would never challenge myself either, because I was scared of failure, scared of the challenge. I didn't have the confidence. So career-wise then, there wasn't one. I'd met my then boyfriend, and at the age of 17, and then we were sort of together for the next 13 years. So it was quite a long one. 13 years we were together. And during that time, at the age of 21, I had my first baby. She was unplanned. However, I was very much of the mindset then that, you know, everything happens for a reason. This is meant to happen. And so we had our first baby back then in 2006. I went on to have another baby just under 2 years later. So Ella was my first baby, Lucy was my second baby, and then Zach came along in 2010. So by the age of 26, I'd got 3 children under the age of 5. So when Zach was born, Ella was 4.5, Lucy was 2.5, and then Zach came along. And let me tell you, nothing quite prepares you for parenting. Becoming a parent to one child is quite the life-altering and life-changing experience, which I was not prepared for in any way, shape or form. I was the least organised person I think I've ever met, and then to bring a child into the mix and to try and stumbling into that situation and trying to get somewhere to live and like get organised and try and understand what is happening right now at the age of 21 was a lot. To then go on and have a second baby at 23, and then 26, 3 kids and counting, it was a lot. And what I will say is, when I look back on me then, I always used to sort of feel like I was never quite doing it right. Things were very chaotic, as you can imagine, with 3 kids. My then partner worked full time, so he had his own business, and he would always be sort of out of the house working. Sometimes he worked away, and I would be with the kids pretty much on my own most of the time. And I would do as much as I could with them. I'd take them out, we'd go to play groups, we'd meet with friends, we'd do craft. The house was always an absolute tip, you know, there was always toys everywhere, there would be pen on the wall, there would be clothes everywhere, there'd be toiletries out. The kids just, they were like free-range children. Organic free-range children is how I can describe it in the nicest way. But everything was just all over all of the time because I was just not organised. I didn't know how to structure or organise my house, my home, myself, the kids. It was just like, but I tell you what, the kids were happy. And I was happy to an extent when they were little. It was hard work, but I did a really good job. And it's only now me looking back at how I navigated that time. I put too much pressure on myself back then to be and do the things that other people were doing and to have my house in a certain way and to keep things in order and clean and tidy and everything on top of each other and doing the cooking and all of that with 3 young children was just so difficult, and particularly doing most of it on my own. So I actually give myself a pat on the back for that time now because I didn't realise how much of an epic job I was actually doing, and so well done me. However, it wasn't the easiest time, and I think I spent most of my 20s pretty much changing nappies. However, I did it, and that was my life then. You know, I was a stay-at-home mum. I was very fortunate to be able to be at home with the kids. I didn't have time to have a job around them, and the childcare would have cost an absolute fortune. So I was able to be at home with the kids full time. However, when the kids got to probably 6, 4 and 2, I want to say, I started to get like that urge again, that feeling that I'd had when, you know, I was a late teen of, you know, what is it that I want to do? And I know I'm meant to be successful and I know I'm meant to be doing like more than I'm actually doing right now. And if you've ever experienced that, you'll know what I mean. It's like inside of you and it's like an itch that you just like, ugh, and it's something that you have to go out and fulfill. It's like, it's your soul calling, like, come on, there's more for you to be doing. There is more. You are capable of more. Why aren't you doing more? It's like, it's that. And so I started to explore, like, I started to be open to more possibilities. And one of the things I did do is between Lucy and Zach, I did go back to college and I trained as a nail technician in nails. And I did nails because I thought I can do my own business, becoming a mobile nail technician, because, and this is no disrespect to like nail techs because they work so hard and they do an incredible job, because I have been one, is because I felt it would be easy. I would always look for the easiest thing. That looks fun, it looks easy, which is a vibe. And I did qualify and I started my own business. It was called Fuchsia, and I did mobile nail technician. I was a mobile nail technician. I would go around people's houses, I'd do their nails, and I'd do it at evenings and weekends when I could. This is before having Zach. And then obviously when I had Zach, I just didn't have the time to go back to that. But what I did get a taste of was obviously having my own little business. And I thought it was nice to be able to choose my own hours and work when I could work it around the kids flexibly. And that really appealed to me. But after having Zach, it was just like, I found it really difficult to be able to do that. And so I parked that. I just thought, I can't do that now. I can't commit to that business. And then in 2013, so Zach was nearly 3, or he was 3, 5 and 7 the kids were. This is when my life really started to change. In 2013, this is where things like, there was a massive shift in my life, which is just over 10 years ago now, is I was introduced to a network marketing opportunity in 2013. And a lot of people have a lot of things to say about different network marketing opportunities. It's a bit like Marmite. Some people love them, some people hate them. And I'd never heard of network marketing in my life until I was approached by who now is my bestie, my best friends. And we were at school with the kids, because our kids went to the same school together, and she said, you know, do you currently work? And I said, I'm not working at the minute, I've obviously got the kids. And she said, you ought to look at this business that I'm doing. It's work from home, work flexibly from home. You can choose your own hours. It's just retailing health and wellbeing products. I really enjoy it. If you wanted to take a look, let me know. And I thought, this sounds really interesting. And I decided to obviously take a look at the business. I went along to a business presentation and something inside of me shifted at this business presentation. I sat and I watched the company presentation, and my heart and my soul and my entire body went, this is what you are meant to be doing. This is what you are meant to be doing. It was working with a reputable company that had a global presence. They had phenomenal products and a really good business model. And I thought to myself, I had this feeling. And it's the first time in a long time I trusted the feeling. And I decided to start that business with absolutely no idea what I was doing. Not a lot of confidence, because I was just like, I have no idea how I'm going to make this work. But something inside of me was telling me to just get started. And a lot of people around me were telling me, you must be mad. And these things don't work. And these things are pyramid schemes, and they're illegal. And are you sure? And my auntie's friend, and all of these kind of things came in. And I was like, I'm not going to listen to the noise. I'm just going to trust myself. I'm going to trust myself. Because if it's going to work, I'm going to make it work. And for the first time in a long time, I trusted myself and I got started in that business. And I started off very slowly because I had to gain I wanted to gain more knowledge and understanding of the actual business that I'd started, but I also wanted to gain confidence and experience in the products to be able to recommend them and build up that retail business. And once I'd got that experience and that knowledge and I felt more confident, it was probably about 6 months in, I started to really work that business, and it grew. And the skills that I started to learn from that business were all around setting goals, action, mindset, personal development, some law of attraction, only a very small bit of law of attraction, mentoring people, coaching people, working with people, delivering presentations. I remember delivering my very first presentation and I was absolutely petrified. It was at a village hall and there was probably only about maybe 20, 25 people there. And I had to choose one of my favourite products from the range of products that I was retailing. And I had to just talk about it. I haven't got a product to share. I was like, I had to get my favourite product. And I had to talk about the product and the benefits of the product. And I was terrified. And I was red in the face, I was sweating. Anyone would think I'd run a marathon after that 5-minute presentation. But that was the start of the journey of growth and transformation for me. Was starting that business, learning skills in that business. And I started to realise that I had a real passion for like coaching and mentoring people, because within that business, not only was it recommending and retailing products, it was then looking at, actually, once I'd got that retail base and that confidence there with the products, it was then showing other people how they could start their own businesses, recommending and retailing the products. And I started to build a team around me of women and people, and they would start to build a team around them where we were all sort of coaching and mentoring and just really enjoying the process. It was one of the best times I think I've ever had. I worked that business for about 5 years and I loved it. The company events, the different people that I met, the networking and the skills that I learned when it comes to networking, communication skills, leadership skills, so many skills that I learned from being part of that business that I will forever be grateful for. It really, really changed my life in so many ways. And one of the other ways in which it changed my life was me realising that actually the relationship that I was in and had been in for a long time wasn't actually a healthy relationship. And when I started to realise about like confidence and about communication and about standards and respect for people, and I started to, the more confident I became, let's put it this way, and the reason I joined that business in the first place is because things at home in the relationship that I was in hadn't been great for a while. And I always attributed the challenges and the poor communication and the lack of respect in that relationship. I used to excuse certain things down to pressure and stress on my other half's behalf, because I used to think, you know, financially he's bearing the brunt of us as a family. It's a lot of pressure on him, and therefore I would take the brunt of that pressure and stress. And I would say poor communication. for many years. And I started to realise that actually that wasn't acceptable. Like the relationship that we had and the communication that we had and some of the ways in which I felt I was being treated in that relationship, I started to realise that it wasn't good and it wasn't healthy. And I started the business because I thought, wow, this is something for me that I can get my teeth really stuck into. And I had that feeling about it. But I also thought, I've got an opportunity here to make some really good money, which is going to take the pressure off financially as a family, in our family, which is then going to make our relationship better. That is another reason why I joined the business. And what I found was the more confident I became and the more money that I started to make, the worse things started to become in that relationship. It sort of magnified and highlighted all the things that weren't right and literally poured petrol on them, and they all got even worse. And that was not something that I was expecting to happen. I expected things to get better and they got worse. And a year into starting my business, I just thought, is this actually what I want? And I'd got sick of being spoken to in a certain way, treated a certain way. And I just thought, I am not happy and I've not been happy for a long time. And I've been sort of waiting for things to change or hoping that things are going to get better and it'll get better when itis in that relationship. And it never did. It didn't. It got worse. To the point where I made the decision, and it was probably one of the hardest decisions I've ever made, to leave that relationship. And that was in November 2014. And I'm not going to go into all the details of that. Some of you that have been with me for a long time will know I've shared different things inside of my private Facebook group. When it comes to being on a real public platform like this, then I'm not one for going in and talking about different personal details of things, because obviously I have respect for other people. I have respect for my ex-partner. He's got his life that he lives. I've got respect for my children. At the end of the day, he is the kid's dad. And so for me now, there's no ill feeling for that time in my life, even though it was difficult and even though things weren't great. I'm a big believer in forgiveness and a big believer in healing and overcoming things, and like I said, working through struggle and challenge. And I know that having anything like bitterness and resentment and anger towards another person, the only person who suffers by holding those feelings and that energy is ourselves. And I don't want to punish me. I don't know about you, but I'm over that. I don't want to punish me anymore. So for me, I'm all about forgiveness, and it's for me first. So if you are someone that has been through a difficult breakup, if you are someone that has been through a separation like that, and to leave a relationship with 3 children, it was a huge decision. It was a very difficult decision. Like I said, it was one of the hardest decisions I'd ever made, but neither of us were happy. There was no respect in the relationship, and it had not been right for years. And so that decision was made. And it's hard, let me tell you, becoming a single parent to 3 children. And at the time they were 7, 5 and 3, or 8, 6 and 4. They were young, trying to navigate that with, trying to explain to them, trying to deal with, obviously, it was just difficult. It was painful. It was hard. I spent many days crying. I spent many days wondering how I was going to get out of bed and to sort the kids out and to get the kids to school and nursery and to carry on with life. And you just kind of have to, you just do what you do on what you've got. And a quote I saw recently actually is that if you've only got 20% to give and you give 20%, then you are giving 100% if that's all you've got. And sometimes in that moment I would wake up in the morning and I would feel physically sick. I would be sick because I felt so ill from all the overwhelm of emotions and the guilt. I think the guilt was the worst thing. And I would get up and feel really poorly, but I would still get through the day. And sometimes I'd give 1%, but that 1% was enough. And I think what got me through that time was obviously my business was one of the things that got me through. The kids were another thing that got me through. But it was a really tough time, and I wasn't expected to cry on this vlog. But it was tough. So we're good. Whenever I say to you that I know how you feel, and I know what struggle feels like, and I know what pain, like emotional pain, feels like, I know. I feel it. I feel it. And so when I work with people to work through struggle, work through difficult times, I've worked with women over the years that have been through similar things, that have worked through relationships breaking down, becoming a single parent, navigating life on your own with kids, building a business. Like, we'll not even go into all the things about like being present online and all of that stuff. That's like for another video. But when it comes to like real life difficulties and struggle and pain, I know, okay? I know. I think we all know to a degree, and we all have that connection. We just don't always talk about it. We don't always talk about our pain. We don't always talk about the things that are hard because it doesn't feel very nice. Things are held. It's uncomfortable. It's vulnerable. It's not nice to feel those things again. But I also know that it's important. It's important to talk about these things. It's important to talk about the difficult times sometimes, because what I used to find is that when I would sort of look to people to work with them when it came to coaching and mentorship, or if I would look for advice from people, you know, I found it hard to take and accept advice or to be coached in certain areas of my life from people who hadn't experienced the things that I'd experienced. And I used to sometimes be a little bit like I said in the beginning of this video, of like, you don't know what I've been through. You know, when you've been through something really difficult and someone will say to you, a bit like someone who's got no children, who say, you know, like, people have no idea and are not yet at that stage of their life of they want children, and you're there with 3 kids on your own, like, and they're just like, they're complaining about how tired they are. And you're just like, are you for real? Like, you literally on a, like, yeah, you've got no idea when it comes to being tired. Or those very same people with no kids will give you parenting advice and you want to go, just absolutely, you'll literally not listen to a thing that they are saying, because you're like, you have absolutely no idea. Unless you have been like a parent or looked after children, like in a home environment, and you know all the things, it's like, you don't know. Believe me. I've written a book, many. I haven't, but I will one day. Hold me to that. So this is why I wanted to talk about some of the things. And yes, I might cry over a few things, because yes, it's been hard. And that's okay, because I know that you'll have been through hard things as well, and hard times. And what I can say from that time of my life, even though it was hard, is that I developed so much strength from that time. I developed so much resilience from that time. It's amazing how things like that shape you, and sometimes in a good way and sometimes in a bad way. But that was one of the hardest things that I've ever done, is that, because there was not just me involved in that separation of that relationship. There were 3 young children, all trying to understand why. And I think, like I said, the guilt was probably the hardest thing. And experiencing that guilt at that time, it took a long time for that to sort of dissolve over years. It wasn't just right, I've left the relationship, now everything's amazing. Woo! It was like, there was the guilt and the shame, and I failed, and so many things to entangle. But being part of my business and going to the different seminars and events helped me to a degree when it came to sort of the mindset side and positive mindset and all of that kind of stuff. But it only helped me so far. And this is where my coaching started to really come into it, is when I started to actually look outside of that business and I started to invest in coaches and mentors outside of that industry. This is where I then went from my journey of involvement and personal development from ground zero, which is being absolutely no idea, to, okay, I've got an understanding of this and I'm reading the books and I'm doing the things and I'm taking the steps. I talk to my clients about this. This is like stage one. I then went into personal development and healing, the healing process. This is like 2.0. And it's like a whole deeper level of transformation and experience and becoming, especially now being, I was then like single, and it was a chance for me for real self-discovery during that time. I then leaned more into the healing process and really looking at sort of myself and what had led to me being in that relationship. And there was a lot of limiting beliefs that I still held on to, even though I'd done work on the surface level and I was achieving things in my business. Personally, there was a lot of work to do when it came to like healing myself and my beliefs about myself and who I actually wanted to be moving forward. And I started to like really deepen that for myself and my learning of me and of like personal development and all of that kind of stuff. And so that then led me to wanting to start my own coaching business, because I thought to myself, I've gone through this journey now of like personal development, learning about law of attraction, learning about manifestation, learning about all these amazing things. And I've achieved so much in this business now in terms of my network marketing business. My mindset then became, why has it taken me joining a network marketing company who sells, obviously I was selling products and, you know, health stuff. Why has it taken me joining that company and industry for me to learn all of this personal development stuff and for me to access all of this stuff that's changed my life? And it was in that moment that I thought, I want to create my own coaching business so that actually I can help other people with their personal development. Like, I don't want people to have to join, not that it's a bad thing, but like there are lots of women out there who don't want to do a network marketing business. They don't want to join a business, but they want to change, they want to heal, they want to maybe achieve different things. And it's like, what is actually out there? Because I wasn't taught all this at school. It took me joining a network marketing company to learn all the things that had changed my life. And so that is why I decided to set up my own coaching business. And you know, I wasn't one of those people that I was like, right, I'm going to start my coaching business and everything like kicked off and I earned 10k in the first 2 months. It wasn't like that for me at all. It's not like that for a lot of people. And I'm always like, when it comes to talking about money, if you're in the world of coaching or you've seen things online about coaching, and a lot of coaches talk about money and their earnings, there's nothing wrong with talking about how much money you make. Money is a really important topic, like, and a conversation to have. You know, I used to feel embarrassed talking about money or shame around talking about money. Whereas now I'll openly talk about money and money wins and that kind of stuff if I'm in that vibe. But I'm always like, show me the profit, Queen. Come on, show me the profit. That's what I'm, when you're talking about business, like, tell me where you really are. And since starting my business back in, I think I really started to transition in 2017, and then went into a rabbit hole of learning all the behind the scenes tech when it came to growing an online business. And it was 2020 when I really just thought, this is overwhelming me now with all the tech that people are saying that I've got to do. I just want to get out there and I want to help people. And I started to really simplify the process for me. And I started to just use one platform, and that was Facebook, to grow my business. And I just got out of my own way. I showed up on video, I talked, I connected with people. And I started to really, really just connect with people on a really deep level. And I started to put programs out, and women were joining my membership that I had at the time. I had clients all over the UK joining at that time. And as I went into 2021, my business then became international, and I started to work with clients all over the world. You know, I'd got clients in Europe, I'd got clients in America, I'd got clients in Canada, I'd got clients in New Zealand and Australia. I don't think I've yet had clients in Asia yet, but this time. But I was working with people all over the world because I could use my online platform to connect with people everywhere, all different time zones. And 2021 was probably one of the best years. 2020 going into 2021 was the best year, and things really took off for me in 2021 with my coaching. I was launching things left, right, and centre. I did some online business coaching, confidence coaching, law of attraction programs, and I have all of these programs that I ran live. They're now available to access, as I call evergreen now. So you can just purchase them as standalone products. And this is something that was or is still a goal for me, is just having just a platform and a shop, let's say, where if people land on my content, my profile here on this YouTube video, and think, I want to learn more, I want to learn more about whatever it might be, about confidence, about believing in myself, about law of attraction, about human design, about business, building a business online. I want to learn more about communication, about leadership, about parenting, like all of these different things. This is what I want my brand and my business and for me to be able to help people with, is like life and online business. That is what I want, and I have yet to make the vision a reality, because there's still lots of pieces of that I want to bring together to make the accessing of these programs and the content I just want to make it easy for you to be able to, if you want to access things, just be able to go click, click, and you've got it. And you can like be in the comfort of your own home. You can sit and watch the videos, and you can learn, and you can start to change your life. And the goal with my YouTube channel, like I said right at the beginning, hopefully I did say, and I'm sure I did, is that I want this to be a source of inspiration, education, entertainment, maybe just of even comfort sometimes. I want it to be a kick up the arse. I want it to be a platform where you can sit here and go, flipping heck, she knows. Like you feel heard, you feel understood. You're just like, oh my God, there's someone out there that feels like me. You don't feel like a complete weirdo on your own, because I'll be talking more about sort of me and my personal traits and some of the, I'm not even going to call it weird stuff, but we're all unique in so many ways. And I found that over the years, talking about some of the things that maybe some people would say is strange or weird, other people go, that's me too. That's me too. And I love that, because I used to often feel so lonely in either who I was, or the way that I thought, or the way that I felt, or the things that I'd been through. And it was only through other people sharing their experiences that I felt this sense of connection. And I felt this sense of not feeling alone anymore, in whether it be my success or whether it be in my struggles. It's like I had that connection to people who felt that really understood me. And this is what I want for this platform on YouTube. I don't want this to be, this won't be for selling things on here, or, I will from time reference, different things that I may have going on, or, different programs that I have done, or that kind of thing. Of course, I will always reference that. But for me, with my YouTube channel, it is more for education. It's more for connection. It's more for, like I said, for just for you to be able to just plug into and watch. What I find is that I'm not someone who enjoys watching TV. I like to sit and I have like my favourite people on YouTube who I follow, and I love to just sit and relax and watch them doing just random shit. And I'm like, that's what I want from my YouTube channel as well. So yeah, I think I might have to do a part 2 of the my story. I think that would be a good thing, because we're 42 minutes into this video now, and I feel you're going to need a cup of tea and a break. And once I've pieced all this together, it's probably going to be an hour long. So I will probably I'll leave it there, I think, for today. So this is sort of part 1 of my story. And if you resonate with anything that I've shared in today's story, or it's touched you in some way, or you want to stay connected, or you've enjoyed today, or anything at all, if you've got any comments that you want to share, then let me know. One thing that I would absolutely love and I would appreciate is if you hit the follow button here on YouTube, because obviously the more people that know about this channel, like share this channel if you've got a friend or a family member that you think actually they'd really love to connect and it would help them in some way, then let them know about this channel. One thing I will say at this point is that what I found over the years of working with different women is every single person and every single woman that has come into my life and worked with me in some degree, whether it's been in my membership or whether it's been in my free group on Facebook, whether they've paid to do a program with me or whether we've worked one-to-one. One thing that I do bring, and one of my strengths and my gifts and my skills, is bringing a sense of calm and balance and wisdom and presence and safety to the energy and the vibe of like just the environment. A lot of women when they work with me say they feel incredibly safe, which is something that is very sacred to me. And I feel very privileged that people feel that around me, that, you know, they feel safe. I've got a very grounded energy, very calming influence. And so naturally through that, over the years when I've worked with women, if they have been going through different challenges emotionally, or they have been experiencing things like anxiety or low mood or mental health like challenges, they found a sort of a sense of peace and a sense of grounding and just a sense of comfort and also inspiration from just being in my energy, whether that's watching a free thing or whether that is being in something that like a coaching program or my membership that I do. So if you know anyone who is either looking for a way to help themselves in those capacities, like, and you think that they would benefit from just subscribing to this channel, then let them know about it. I'd really appreciate it. So I'm going to jump off now. If you've watched this far, well done. Thank you for being here with me. Like I said, I am going to be posting a part 2 to this video. I've got to go off and buy dog food now and do all the different jobs and stuff, and the kids will be coming home from school soon and all that jazz. So I'm going to jump off. But like I said, thank you for watching this video so far. Look out for part 2, which I'll be posting probably next week. If not before, but next week definitely. But if not, I hope to get that done before. But yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of my world. And here's to the journey of expansion this year, because like I said, I really want to focus on building this platform out, connecting with you here on YouTube, and just building that presence, and also making a difference with the content that I put out. So yeah, thank you for being part of it, and I'll see you on the next video. See you later. Bye.